We're going on an adventure. So I've been wanting to be a content creator for a while, but I have been scared to actually make content. So that's not working out so well for me. And I do this thing where I do a lot of research, and all of the research has been coming to the same conclusion, which is that you just have to start and do it, and then it gets better. Big shocker. So the goal for this summer, so this is the start of July. So for the next 2 months, from to the end of August, I'm going to try to make content regularly. And regularly is hard for me because to me, that means every single day. And I don't do anything every single day. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing or just a me thing. But when someone says, oh, you need to make a video every single day, to me, that means 7 days a week. And I know I'm not going to do that. So I have been not doing that, but that also means I don't make any videos. And I think some is better than none. So like they say, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. So I didn't start making videos regularly 10 years ago, but I can start doing it now. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm never going to magically wake up and just be good at making videos. So I have to practice. And I used to play piano. I was a professional pianist for 10 years, and I practiced every single day for like 12 years. So it's going to take me a while to figure this out, and I'm not just going to magically wake up and be good at making content. And I think that is kind of where I get like unrealistic expectations, because I see everybody else's content and how they look so effortless, and they come out with videos every week, or a couple of videos every week. And it's so predictable and on schedule, and I'm impressed, and I want that to be me, but I want to just be there. I want to just have it happen and magically wake up and it'll all be there. But just like becoming an adult, you don't magically wake up and all of a sudden you're an adult and you know how to adult and do all of the adulty things. You have to figure it out. So I'm going to be figuring it out. And I'm not going to make it complicated, which is my other issue, because I tend to do all the research, like I said. And so I know what it looks like 3 steps from now or 5 steps from now. Like, I know what the process is for someone who has a big following and has to batch their content because they don't have time to record every day, or someone who makes the process more efficient. And so I want to go right to that step. I want to jump over all the beginning stuff and go right to the end where it's fun. And so like for the first, I guess it's been almost a year now, I've been trying to jump to like level 3 and have a content engine and make things like video. So I've heard, I've done my research. So I know that it's more efficient to make a video first, and then you can repurpose the audio into your podcast, and you can repurpose the transcript into a text, like for your blog post and for your email list and like all of this stuff. And so I was trying to be professional and do the most efficient way. But the problem is that's a lot of freaking work, especially when you're not really sure what you want to talk about yet or what people are interested in hearing about. And so, I can do it, but it's so exhausting that I have to like gear myself up to make it happen. And I only have the energy to make that happen like 1 time a month. And so I'll make 1 piece of content, and then that wipes me out for the rest of the month. And that's just the way my energy cycles are, I guess. So if I try to make it too complicated, then I'm going to not keep up with it. And I know that because that's what I've been doing for the past several months. So my goal is to not skip a level. My goal is to do the steps and put in the reps for the level that I'm at right now, which is level 0. There is now a level 0, and that's where I'm at. So my goal is to make 1 video every weekday, because I am not going to work on weekends. I'm sorry, just not going to do it. So I'm going to make 1 video every weekday, and I'm only going to do that until the end of August. So at the end of August, then I'll reevaluate and see whether that's working, or whether I've learned like video creation as a skill enough to then start doing more complicated videos. And I'm sure when I'm doing more complicated videos, then I won't be able to do 1 every weekday. But we'll see at the end of August. I'm not going to decide that until then, when I can, look at data and see numbers and see how I feel about it at that point. So 1 video every weekday till the end of August. I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm not going to put in a lot of sprinkles. I'm not going to make a bunch of transitions and chapter titles and motion graphics and like all this stuff that I know goes into video production, because I've also studied video production. There's so much that goes into a complicated video or filmmaking. And so when I think, oh, I want to make good videos, obviously, because nobody wants to get on the internet and make stupid videos. Like they don't want to think that there's the videos they're making are stupid. So I want to make a nice video, but my standard for what is a nice video is like level 20. And I am not at level 20 yet. So they're not going to be very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops. I tend to talk a lot if you can't tell. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on myself. So 10 to 15 minutes, very simple. We're not going to make it complicated. I'm not going to repurpose to a podcast. I'm not going to make short form content. I'm not going to send an announcement to my email list every time I post a video. I'm not going to try to batch things, because the point of this bootcamp is to do it every day and practice the process of video creation and get better at the skill of making videos. So I have to do that every day in order to practice it, because just like when I was practicing piano, I could do maybe a marathon piano practice session and practice for 5 hours once every 2 weeks. But practicing for 5 hours once every 2 weeks takes so much energy that you can't practice the rest of the time. So it's better to practice 15 minutes a day every day than to try to batch it. So no batching for now. So with that, there are some, oh yeah, but what if this kind of stuff that comes up. So for one thing, I like to record privately, because I don't like people listening to me when I'm talking out loud, because then that puts pressure on me and I can't think of what I'm trying to say. So I would like to record privately. So what if my husband is home and he wants to use, our space for his work? Then what am I going to do? Because I don't want to record in the same room when he's doing something else. So my solution for that is to go to the park. There's a park nearby, and I'll just sit in the park with my phone and record that way. And then the question is, well, what about the audio? We have DJI mics, lapel mics. So I will record with my phone and that in the park, and then I'll figure out how to sync the audio later. A lot of this is going to be figuring it out as we go. Okay, so that's problem number 1. What if someone's here? I'm going to record in the park with a lapel mic. Problem number 2, what if nobody watches the videos? And probably nobody is going to be watching this one. If you're watching it, then thank you for watching it, because I was worried nobody was going to watch it. But that's just how, dang, I keep knocking the desk. That's just how it is when you're first starting and you don't have any content and you're putting out videos for the first time. Like, nope, nobody is going to watch them. So that's just the way it is. So probably if you're watching this, it's like a couple months from now, when hopefully my channel has gotten some traction and the algorithm starts showing things to people. So hi, future you. Thank you for being here. If I get to the end of August and I've made a video every single day, weekday, and there are still no views on any of them, which, I mean, for a beginning channel, see, I don't even know the stats. For a beginning channel, any views is views. You wouldn't count like a couple hundred views if you normally get several 100,000 views. But for me starting, a couple hundred views is good. So if I get a couple hundred views, that means that I'm seeing some progress. Maybe I'll get way more, but probably not. So telling myself, don't get too big for my britches and expect like 100,000 views, because that's probably not going to happen. Okay. So if I get to the end of August and I've made a video every weekday and I only have like 20 views on each one, then I will figure it out. I will do a diagnostic of which ones I guess resonated the best and start making more content like that, because that's the way the algorithm works. The ones that do the best gets shown the most, so people interact with them the most. Yeah. Okay. So we'll figure it out. So problem number 3, what if there are nasty comments? And if I had been starting this project 10 years ago when I first got on the internet, which was like 2016, I think, when I first really got on the internet. I was raised in the Victorian era, basically. We'll talk about that another time. When I first got on the internet, I was like a little bunny, and I had no idea about mean people making rude comments on the internet. And so I remember the first time I read like a comment war on some random blog post about a color wheel, and they were so rude to each other that I like literally was upset about it for the whole rest of the day. I was like, I can't believe that people would just talk to each other that way on the internet for everyone else to see and also be rude like that. So I was very upset about it. And I think that might be one of the reasons why it's taken me 10 years to actually decide to just do bootcamp video, because I don't want to be the cause of that. I think generally comment etiquette has gotten better since I first got on the internet. I feel like there's much less people just being mean for the sake of being mean, at least that I see. So either people are doing it less, or the video host, like the channel owners, are doing a better job of deleting them. So there's also that option. So if I get nasty comments when they're like really actually nasty for no reason, I'm in charge, so I can delete them. If they're just kind of hurt my feelings because they disagree or they're pointing out something that I did wrong, like I'll give myself a day to get over having my feelings hurt and then go back and see if like it's something that I need to actually improve on, in which case I'm glad that they shared, even if it does hurt my feelings. So I will give myself an attitude adjustment about that and leave the comment. But if I come back to it and it actually is like mean-spirited, nasty, or being nasty to someone else who has commented, then I will just delete it because ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, problem number 4 that I'm worried about is what if my energy is wildly different, because I am very like cycle aware of my menstrual cycle, and I do notice that my energy like levels vary a lot during that monthly cycle. So I don't know, I have this idea that to be a professional, like you have to be the same every single time, which is one of the things that I don't agree with about modern business culture, because people are not the same all the time. So I think it's probably a good thing if my energy is different at different points in my cycle, because then I can show, hey, you can still be a content creator, but you don't have to be a machine, because humans are not machines. We are organic beings. Organic beings go through cycles. So it's okay for my energy to be a cycle. Like that's part of what I want to show and share with people and encourage them that they can do that too. So I think that's a good thing. And I don't need to try to cram all my content creation into my highest energy days, because then I'm just going to come across as like manic energy and only make 3 videos a month, which is not great for all of the above mentioned reasons. So it is what it is. And if I'm like really down in the dumps, then I'll just say that. I'd be like, hey, I'm really down in the dumps today, but I made a promise to myself to do this, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, problem number 5. What if my background isn't professional enough? Well, this is what I've got to work with. This is my room, and it's honest about where I am right now, because I'm at level 0. So I do not need to pretend like I have a $1 billion recording studio, because I don't, and that would be lying. So I am in my room that I share with my husband, and I can make sure my bed is made, and I can make sure that it's clean and clutter-free, and I have this cool little light that he got me that changes colors, and like I can set it to different colors so it'll look cool. But we didn't get it for video recording. I just already had it because it's a full spectrum bulb, so I can use it for video recording. So I'm just going to use what I have, and then later hopefully when I am more professional, then I'll have the resources and the space to look more professional. But right now, this is true for where I am, which is level 0. And if people have a problem with that, that sounds like a them problem. Okay. And problem number 6, I think I'm on 6. What if I'm not professional looking enough? Well, this is what I look like. And I never wear makeup anyway. Like, never wear makeup. I don't have makeup to wear. So deciding that all of a sudden I need to like put on a face of makeup and wear mascara and stuff, that wouldn't really be me. And if I'm worried about like, oh, but what about my clothes? Like, you're probably not going to see much except for here. So as long as I'm wearing something, like any clothes is okay. And also, I don't think anybody's going to notice. Usually people don't notice, or I don't see comments about people's clothing unless someone's like, wow, that's so cool. Where did you get it? In which case, you know, they're noticing it in a positive way. So if they notice it in a negative way, that'll be a nasty comment and I can delete that. And otherwise, they probably won't notice. So I don't need to worry about it. And if they do care, I don't have to care that they care. You know, the last one that I'm worried about is like, what if I look silly? And there's a good chance that I'm going to think I look silly when I watch this back, but that's part of not really being used to seeing myself on camera yet. It was like when I started singing for church, like I was not used to hearing myself through a microphone, so that was weird. So seeing myself on film is going to be weird, but that's something that I just get used to, which is part of doing bootcamp video, is just like getting used to it. So if I actually am silly, I'm also the editor, so I can cut that part out and nobody will know. Ha ha ha. Okay, so the point of this video is to explain all of that, mostly for myself, because I doubt anyone's going to care about me, and to just do it. Because if I worry a lot about, oh, what should my first video topic be about, then I will never actually make the first video. Sorry. I will never actually make the first video. So here I am. Here we are. actually making the first video. And where do you come in? Well, if you're still here, then I would like to invite you to come with me on Bootcamp video. So yeah, if you're starting a channel too, then let's do it together and tell me how it's going for you. And then I'll keep you updated on how it's going for me and what I'm learning and what's happening and like the process that I'm figuring stuff out. And so then we can help each other do it better. And if you already are a YouTuber, content creator, and you know a lot of secrets that I'm going to have to figure out the hard way, please share your wisdom with me and give me some give me some pointers on where the little rocks are in the pathway so I don't stub my toes. That would be nice. Yeah, so probably nobody's going to care about this video but me, but I made it. Ta-da! So come along with the journey if you want to, and I'll see you next time.